In the dead of night, while most of the town of Villisca, Iowa, was fast asleep, a horrific tragedy unfolded that would haunt the town forever. 8 innocent lives were brutally taken, and to this day, no one knows who did it or why. But those who dare to enter the old house still hear the echoes of what happened that fateful night. This is the story of the Villisca Axe Murders, a chilling mystery that continues to terrify generations. Will you be brave enough to uncover the truth? It was a peaceful evening in Villisca on June 9, 1912. The sun had just set, casting a soft glow over the quiet town in rural Iowa. Inside the Moore family home, Josiah and Sarah Moore, along with their 4 children, were preparing for bed. 2 young friends, Lena and Ina Stillinger, had come to spend the night. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The house was warm with the light of lamps, the laughter of children, and the simple joy of a family gathering. But that night, something sinister lurked in the shadows. The next morning, the house was eerily quiet. When the Moore's neighbor, Mary Peckham, arrived to check on them, she noticed the curtains were drawn, and no one answered the door. At first, she thought nothing of it, but as the day wore on, her concern grew. She alerted the local authorities, who arrived at the house and made a grim discovery. The front door was locked from the inside. After forcing their way in, the deputies found a gruesome scene. The Moore family and the Stillinger sisters lay in their beds, each brutally murdered with an axe. Blood was splattered across the walls, the floor, and the ceilings. The killer had methodically attacked each victim in their sleep, leaving behind only horror and confusion. But the strangest part of the crime scene was the eerie calmness it exuded. The killer had wiped the axe clean, turned off the lights, and covered the bodies with sheets before leaving. The murder weapon was left behind, and no sign of forced entry had been found. As word spread through the town, the authorities began their investigation. They combed through every inch of the Moore home, searching for clues. But the more they searched, the fewer answers they found. No fingerprints were found on the murder weapon. No valuables were stolen. There were no signs of struggle, no apparent motive. The only thing that remained was the eerie silence and the horrific scene. The authorities questioned everyone in the town, but no one had seen anything suspicious. Then, as days turned into weeks, the theories began to emerge. Some believed the killer had to be someone close to the family, someone who knew their routines. Others thought the crime was connected to a traveling man who had passed through town around the time of the murders. But as months passed, the investigation led to dead ends. The case grew colder, and the town of Villisca fell into a sense of dread. No one was safe. Could the killer still be out there, and if so, who would be next? Years passed, and the horror of that night never left the town of Villisca. The Moore house, once a home full of life and laughter, became an empty shell, a haunting reminder of the brutality that occurred within its walls. Despite several attempts to uncover the truth, the mystery of the Villisca Axe murders remained unsolved. But then, something strange started to happen. Locals began reporting strange occurrences at the house. Late at night, they would hear footsteps inside the old house. Even though it was vacant, some said they saw shadowy figures moving through the windows, while others claimed to have heard children's laughter echoing from the darkened rooms. In the years that followed, paranormal investigators began to visit the house, drawn by the rumors of hauntings and the unresolved mystery. Each time they encountered inexplicable events, lights flickering, doors creaking open on their own, and a sense of coldness in the air. One group even claimed to have heard a voice whispering, "Get out." The question lingered, was the house truly haunted by the spirits of the victims, or was something more sinister at play? With the passage of time, new theories emerged about the murders. Some suggested the killer was a man named Reverend George Kelly, who had confessed to the crime but was later cleared after a botched investigation. Others believed the killer was a drifter named Frank Jones, a local businessman who had a motive due to a long-standing feud with Josiah Moore. But none of these theories provided closure. The case remained unsolved, and the fear that gripped Villisca never truly faded. The most terrifying theory, however, suggested something far more supernatural. Some believed that the spirits of the victims, particularly the children, were trapped in the house, seeking justice for their brutal deaths. Others spoke of a dark energy that had lingered in Villisca long before the murders, feeding off the fear and confusion of the townspeople. They said the killer wasn't just a man, but a force that had been drawn to the town by the energy of unresolved tragedy. To this day, the Villisca Axe Murder House stands as a chilling monument to an unsolved mystery. Tourists and ghost hunters alike still visit the house, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural, or to uncover the truth about what happened that night. But those who venture inside often leave with more questions than answers. There are whispers that some visitors have felt cold hands brushing against their necks, or seen shadows lurking in the corners of the rooms. Others claim to have heard the soft cries of children, or witnessed objects move on their own. And some, in the dead of night, say they can still hear the dull thud of the axe striking down, echoing through the empty house. No one knows for sure if the Villisca Axe murders were the work of a man or something far darker. But one thing is certain: the horror that took place in that house is far from over. The spirits of the victims may never rest, and the killer may still be lurking in the shadows. The question remains: who or what was behind the Villisca Axe murders? Was it the work of a human mind, twisted and dark? Or was there something more sinister at play? Something that still haunts the house today? Only time will tell if the truth is ever uncovered. But one thing is for certain: the terror of Villisca will never be forgotten. If you think you know what happened that night in Villisca, drop your theory in the comments below. Do you believe the house is truly haunted? Or is there a more logical explanation behind the unsolved mystery? Let's discuss.